Everyone and their mother has been telling me to try this game. I have gotten so many DMs about it. I've gotten so many chats about it. I've got a bunch of comments asking me if I'm gonna play or talk about Girls Frontline 2. So of course, when the brand reached out to me and offered to sponsor a video, I couldn't say no because everyone wanted to know what I think about this game. So today I'm gonna tell you guys about Girls Frontline 2 because this game is truly something unique and the global release of this has everyone hyped. So with that said, I'm just gonna get right into it and show you guys the gameplay of this game and probably one of the better things about Girls Frontline 2 that sets it apart from other gacha games. So let's get right into it. First off, there is a skip button. You can use this in dialogues and things in game if you don't care about the story. And I know there's a lot of people that don't necessarily care about the story in these kinds of games. So, you know, you can just kind of do with that what you will. So I'm just going to throw out some units. I am not well versed in this game or the meta of this game. So I am just picking characters that I think are cute and I am placing them down in the squares. Essentially, this game is a turn-based, grid-based combat game with some autoplay features. So, you know, like if you feel like it takes too long or you need to autoplay it, you know, you can just hit auto and that's whatever. But there actually is some strategy involved in this, especially if you get to the higher levels and you are under-leveled. I found that is where it gets the most challenging because then you can actually use the strategy as opposed to just steamroll everything because you out-level it. All right, so you go ahead and hit start and then your turn begins. Essentially, what you can do is you can go one times speed, two times speed, three times speed, but you can take a character whose turn it is, and you can click on a grid space for them to move to, and this allows them to reposition if an enemy is either out of range or if you want to take cover, because being behind cover is helpful in this game. And then you can choose an ability. So they all do different things depending on the characters. You do have just like your standard, like, okay, we're just gonna attack them, but you also have special abilities for each character. For example, I can choose one direction and deal AoE burn damage with Guide to Victory. So if I would choose Guide to Victory, it would let me choose a line AoE there. So knowing what this does, we put the character here, we line AoE Guide to Victory forward, and we're gonna hit this Aegis Swap Bulwark here. So we're gonna go and do that. This is our turn. It's completely like, it's all 3D models, which is really nice. I think that makes the game a lot more palatable for me. I do like 8-bit stuff, but when games go from really nice art to 8-bit or like 3D to 8-bit, I tend to struggle with it a little bit unless it's just done very well. I think the 3D modeling is really good though. So we're gonna go and move Sabrina over here and we're gonna use meal preparation. Sabrina eats a lot of food. I like that her entire deal is themed after food. I think that's funny. Yeah, so we confirm her turn. She moves over here. We go ahead and hit the enemy with our AoE that's right in front of us, that line AoE. And this is sort of the gameplay of it. You're going to move your characters to positions that you feel like are optimal. You're going to use abilities, or you can just, you know, fire command on whatever enemy you want to deal damage to. Gonna go over here, shoot the enemy, do a little bit of damage. Didn't do that much. And as you know, get good at the game, which clearly I'm not yet, but as you get good at the game, you start to learn like which characters are best for which setups, which enemies, etc. So we can move Nemesis here. We can knock out this Aegis Deadeye. It shows us how much damage he's gonna take. We're gonna snipe him, he's down. And then the enemy turn begins and they get to reposition and they get to take some shots. It is true turn-based grid combat, and it's pretty neat actually. You know what it reminds me of is, there's a lot of people that say this game reminds, I don't even remember the game they're talking about because I haven't played a lot of games like this. But Fire Emblem is what this reminds me of. I've briefly played Fire Emblem before. I never finished one of the games, but it reminds me a lot of that sort of like just needing to be like super tactical with your movements and placements and when you use your abilities and who you use them on. And then of course you also have special abilities for every one of the characters. That looks really great in the animation. I'm a really big fan of it. But we can even turn this up to 3 times speed, and that'll help this go even faster because the one downside to games like this is that they can take a while in the sort of turn-based combat. So if you don't have the patience for that, then increasing the speed is going to be quite helpful because I think that is probably one of the #1 deterrents for this type of game is how long it takes. But once you do the mission, you get a victory complete screen. It's very cute. I like how the character models look in this game. I think they're great. And there's challenges for each mission. As you progress through missions, you will find harder to beat missions that require a little bit more thinking or a little bit more precision with where you're placing your characters and things like that. You have boss missions and wave missions where there's going to be more enemies that come in after you defeat the first wave. Now, another quick thing that I want to go ahead and talk about relating to story and the gameplay is how much visual storytelling there is in this game. There is a lot of dialogue, but they do a lot of showing, which is great. There's so many gacha games that just do tell. They just tell, 30 seconds of show, right? But it feels like every single story bit that I have played of Girls Frontline 2 has great visual storytelling. The downside to this is for some reason it's like limited to like 15 or 30 FPS. I'm not really sure. It feels lower FPS as I'm watching it, but I think having cutscenes in your game is so important. I think you need to show, not tell, because that makes a story so much easier to digest. Maybe that's different for other people, but for me, I just need to be able to see what's happening to really get immersed and get into it. So they do a great job with that. So that's going to be your sort of core gameplay that you're going to be doing. And then your gameplay loop is much like any other gacha game where you're going to be spending daily resources to try and improve your characters. Now, one of my favorite things about Girls Frontline 2 is actually the characters themselves. I think that it's super cool how they've done all the naming conventions for characters, like naming them after weapons is kind of neat, but also the way these characters are rendered in is really great. I like the character models themselves, but I also like the lighting in the game. In the refitting room, you can actually take a look at characters and their weapons, and you can level them up or improve them. This is going to be your character improvement screen. And there's also skins in this game, not for Sabrina. There's no Sabrina skins that I'm seeing right now. For Nagant, you actually have a skin, the summer picture skin, which I think is like giga cute. I just think this is adorable. Personally, I'm a huge fan of that. I think that is so cute. But the characters that they have are honestly adorable. Some of them have like a more of a coolness factor. Like Nemesis is just dope. I love her entire aesthetic. She is so cool. You get copies of characters, you can actually improve their potential even further. And then you have this sort of system that if you play like HSR, it's similar to Traces, where you kind of have like a skill tree you level up, and it will essentially help you improve your characters even more beyond just their level and their weapon. Another cool thing is that for the weapon heads in this game, you can actually see like the full 3D rendered version of the guns too, which, like, I don't know if you're just a gun fanatic, this is pretty cool. I don't know a ton of games that let you see the full version of it. I've played a lot of games where they let you like tilt it side to side, but you can't like rotate it 100%. So there's that. There's also attachments that let you sort of customize the gun in different ways for different stats, which I think is really sick, because what that does is allows you to really min-max your builds for certain characters. And I think that's awesome. But honestly, I think what everyone is really hyped about, this is just from what I've seen online, is the way you can actually interact with the character. So if we go to the public area, you can go to the dormitory. And in the dorms, you can actually interact with the different characters that you have. The different dolls is what they're called. So like on the right here, I have a list of all the different characters that I have on the account. And you can go ahead and like choose a character and interact with them in their dormitory. And in their dormitory, they have different, like, I guess, poses or like actions they can be doing. You can switch like kind of what they're doing and hang out with the characters and be parasocial and all that. You also have a free range camera. You can kind of just go around and, you know, check out the dorm, like what's going on in here, what kind of keyboard they got. I have no idea what brand that is. They also have bullet casings on the desk. They got unopened boxes. This looks a lot like my house. And yeah, it's honestly just really cute. Something you can do is you can give gifts to your dolls. And so if you give them gifts, it increases their affinity. They like some things more than others, and every single doll is gonna like different things. When you increase their affinity, they will interact with you differently based on the affinity that they have. And also by leveling the characters up, you actually unlock different poses for them. So Overlook at level 40. For example. So real quick, I'll level Lotta up so I can show you guys how this sort of goes. So we're gonna go ahead and level her up to 30. There's a little training session too, which I think it's a cute little animation. This game feels very high, like production value, which is honestly good, because I don't like when I'm playing like a mobile game or a game that's available on mobile and I can like feel like it's a mobile game. That bothers me a little bit, because I personally don't like playing games on my phone as much as I like playing on my PC. So when the game is designed with mobile in mind on PC or on the PC client, I just don't really care for that. So you can really tell they put a lot of effort into making this game feel not like it's strictly a mobile game, but it's a game to be enjoyed on different platforms. Okay, so we want to get Lotta to 40, but we can't yet because we're actually missing stock boost bar. So this is what I was talking about, where it does have some similar gacha elements where it's like, okay, here are things that you can spend your stamina on, and you can challenge this normally, but once you've completed it, you can actually just hit auto and it'll literally do the entire thing for you. You hit auto, it just automatically completes after this auto battle thing is done. So it saves you so much time from having to challenge it and hit auto battle and wait for it to play out, which I think is something that you absolutely need. If you're gonna put auto battle in the game, just put auto clear in the game. Like, it's one step difference. It's great. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna expand her to 40, which is basically her ascension, and then we're gonna level her up. Train her up to level 40, and now we've unlocked the new pose in the room, and I'll just show you because it's different. It's different for every single character. So we'll go to the dormitory, go to doll list. We're gonna go find Lotta, and now we have Overlook. which is a cute. Oh my God, she has the grippers out. Wait, does she have the grippers out in every one of these? Holy, okay, never mind, guys. This is a feet game. This is a game about feet, actually. But yeah, you just have like cute new pose. What the f is happening on my screen? So yeah, you guys just have like cute new poses and stuff, and you can, all right, I didn't mean to, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to click on you. You can just kind of like pose up your camera too. And this is one of the uses of the dormitory is you can actually save this as your home screen. So you can go ahead and set this like here. This is for the dormitory. And then you can also mark this as like a favorite. And when you leave the dormitory, now you have a new background screen. So it's all fully custom. There are other backgrounds as well, but if you have a favorite character in Girls Frontline, you can kind of make them the center of your account, which I think is really important for gacha games. If there's gacha games that you have and you can't like put your favorite characters on a pedestal, I feel like that's not, I feel like they're missing out. And so Girls Frontline does a really good job of that. You also, this is just the default screen. It kind of shows you the ops room, but every single character that you unlock has their own special screen as well. So whatever you think is like cute or just, you know, whatever you think is cool, you can make that sort of your home screen, and it really makes you feel at home. It makes it feel like it's your game, which I think they do a really great job of. Girls Frontline 2 has a huge focus on the characters, and they did a really good job with that. Now, I do want to talk about the gacha in this game, but first, I do want to briefly go over limited time events. I'm not going to tell you specifically what is in the game right now because that's going to change. You might see this video 3 months from now, and there's a different event going on, but there are limited time events that are going to have special rewards for you. These are going to be things like gacha currency. These are going to be things like potentially skins, weapons, honestly, just whatever they feel like putting in those time limit events. But that is usually what they do with those. So if you're playing through the campaign and you're kind of like just tired of like reading or like progressing the campaign, you want to take a break and do something a little more fun, the time limit events are good for that.
And they also do have a mini game system now. It hadn't released in the beta, but now they have a few. One of them is called Wasteland Impact, and it's a great way to pass the time if you're just looking for something to do. That's not sort of the main story gameplay of this game.
On the topic of time limit events though, they also are giving away a ton of stuff because it's launch. So if you do start playing now, you get a ton of free goodies. You'll get free pulls and you'll get Cheetah for free. She is a healer and she's adorable, dude. Just look at her. She's just adorable, guys. She reminds me of Yui Gahama. If you know, you know. But the last and final thing I want to talk about is recruitment, which is going to be your gacha. This is so important for every single gacha game to do right. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed because I feel like every single game just does what Genshin Impact did and then like changes the numbers a little bit. And I honestly, I feel like this game did something similar to that. I'll show you. So the details of this, so we're looking at Suomi's rate up banner, right? So you have some 4-star rate ups and you have Suomi, who's the main rate up, but you also have all of these other dolls that are available for you to pull, and you can also technically get all the 4 stars. That's whatever, right? But if you look at the percent, you can see that you actually have a 0.6% of getting an elite doll, which sounds probably familiar to you. And every 10 pulls, you are guaranteed a standard doll weapon or an elite doll. And if you don't get an elite doll after 58 consecutive pulls, the probability of getting one will increase with every subsequent access. So what is interesting about this is it's a sort of soft pity system. So basically after 58, you do get a higher chance of pulling that rate up character that you're going for, or just any elite doll. The 80th access is the hard pity, so it is a little bit lower hard pity than if you were playing something like Genshin or Star Rail, which I know is a lot of people who watch my channel. One of the main things that turned me off to this gacha is that you're still not guaranteed to get the character that you're rolling for. Similar to a lot of the other games that I play that I'm not happy with, it is basically if something can go wrong, it will go wrong probably. However, you are guaranteed the character if you don't get them the first time, so you do have a way to guarantee the character, which is 160 pulls. You can like 100%, you will get the character if you spend 160 pulls, because 80 pulls is hard pity, and if you don't get him the first time, you'll get him the second time. And the weapons seem to carry this system as well, because they mention that if the elite weapon obtained is not the featured one for the event, the next elite weapon will be the featured one. So this basically says you can lose a 50-50 on the weapons, and I'm not even entirely convinced it's a 50-50. I think it is weighed differently because they don't mention anything about a 50% chance. But one upside of the gacha is the animation is really cute. I'll just show you guys. So you go ahead and spend your gacha currency, helicopter comes down, and it's honestly just adorable. She's like looking in the window. She's like, oh my gosh, who's it gonna be? You slide the door, it shows you gold or purple, and there's a different animation for each one. And if you get a 4-star or 5-star, then they'll have a slightly different animation as well, and I'll show you guys that. There you go, you have a character animation the first time you pull every character. It's honest, it's adorable. Oh my god, she's so cute. Chakra is adorable. And here's what an elite's gonna look like for you. So the animation changes, the lights come on, they're more yellow, goldish. And she does a different pose. It's so cute. I love this so much. I don't know why, but just like this whole pose is so cute, man. And then it's gold. Beautiful. And there'll be a special animation for the elite class character as well. Hopefully we get Suomi. And there you go. Okay, so we did get Suomi. She has her own unique thing. Moving through the snow. The renders in this game are incredible. The lighting and everything is so, so good. And there you go. That's Swoby. So everyone's been talking about Girls Frontline 2 and like how insanely good the game is. And honestly, guys, I think as far as mobile games go, the hype was justified. I was not expecting a lot from this game when I first saw it because it was a release that was delayed for global. And honestly, anytime that happens, I'm instantly skeptical. I don't want to start playing a game late. That feels bad. But this game is pretty dang good. Girls Frontline 2 Exillium is actually impressive to me. I was surprised at how well put together this game is, how good the renders look, how much depth there is to the gameplay, because grid-based turn-based is one thing, but grid-based turn-based with multiple different abilities, with multiple different guns, with the guns having their own modifications and attachments, and the characters having their own modifications that you can apply, while also having like skins and stuff, is incredibly diverse and complex. And I think this is a really great game. If you like strategy, this is going to be a good one for you. But also, if you're more into fantasy, I can understand this also not being your thing, because it's like very tech and, you know, modern guns and mechas and stuff. But it's free, so give it a try. Honestly, if you guys want to download it, use my link down below. That helps me a lot. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you're playing, and if you're playing, who's your favorite character so far? I'm just waiting for a Ren lookalike, and then I'm gonna be all in and money god. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.